You're listening to Asharami Radio. All right, you're welcome back. And I told you, I promised you a huge guest on Asharami Radio. And, talking about leveling up, we have with us right here live in the studio. I think I'm feeling good to say this one, Dr. Kola Adesina. You're welcome to Asharami Radio, sir. It's a pleasure to have you here.
My pleasure, please. Thank you.
All right, the conversation today is about pushing boundaries. And I think if there's anyone that exemplifies this is yourself in what and also what we stand for in Sahara, and more recently, what you achieved with the honorary degree awarded by the prestigious University of Lagos. So this is a new year. A lot of people start with, having goals in mind, things they want to do, but many people end up repeating that vicious cycle without actually going ahead to push boundaries. So we just want to start this year. How do you think we can do things differently in the year 2025?
I want to say a big thank you to you guys for what you're doing here. This is amazing for an energy company to have an outfit like this, pushing boundaries.
Thank you,
say,
sir.
I doubt if we have any energy company globally that is doing what we're doing here. So invariably, you guys have begun to push boundaries through the work you're doing here, and I really want to commend you for that. Secondly, for me, it's a mindset game with regards to the future and the ability to push boundaries. If you have a mindset of an architect who sees the building even far before the soil is turned, then invariably you'll be pushing aggressively the boundaries of life. And thankfully, our story is not complete without the story of one of the best architects God has given mankind, Dr. Shunobi, as well as Tony Cole, who were able to create something out of nothing. And you can see where we are. And of course, I can say without a doubt, in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, the Sahara you see today would have been fully transformed that we may not even be able to recognize who we were then because we would have been so globally known, valued, respected, and making energy truly come to life. With regards to pushing boundaries as well, it's good for one to have some very basic principle that guides you being able to move forward from where you are to where you want to be. The first one being optimism. You need to have the mindset that things will be better. The perspective from which you view life must be different from the perspective you used to have. Like I said yesterday in one of the questions that one of the media houses asked, for me, there is no medal for pessimists. Pessimism does not in any way support humanity in any way or form. Whatever the challenges we are all talking about today, there are people in the laboratories of ideas trying to find solutions to those problems. So the idea is for one to be a problem solver. One of the things I've seen timelessly equally around the world is the fact that there's a ministry that is the most populated ministry in the world. It's called the Ministry of Complaint. People will complain about everything that they see, but very few people would do something about those things that they're seeing that is wrong. Whatever we consider the negativities around, that's an opportunity for somebody to find room for transformation. And whoever is able to do that will definitely be celebrated and be rewarded with the mark of excellence. So I would want to say for us to push boundaries again, we need to continue to interact with knowledge, interact with experience, and ultimately the fusion of the two will bring wisdom within the enterprise. Whatever we've done yesterday, we must live a life of daily continuous improvement where we want to see ourselves and criticize ourselves. The best form of criticism is self-criticism, where no matter what you do, you would never accept that you are the best. There's nothing called the best. The best is always yet to come. We are all explorers in this world, and as explorers, we're looking out for where we can find gold, where we can find diamond, the pearls, and the beautiful things of life. While some people are still grappling with issues on planet Earth, I know you know that quite a number of individuals, very smart, are already exploring the
Taking new
universe itself
territories.
in other planets and the rest of them. People are going to the moon and trying to find a way to live another life beyond here and now. So I would say we need to create a vivid experience of ourselves, of that future. If you see your future being brighter, being better, and you are truly making a difference, then the boundaries that we seek to push, we will definitely then be pushing them. Collaboration is important. Drawing from the strength of others is very vital. That sense of teamwork will always consistently add value. No matter what you know, no matter where you are, somebody somewhere is better than you. And aspirationally, you need to find a way for self-improvement. I think those things are things that would help us to push boundaries in the new year and beyond.
So much wisdom. I don't know if it's the new honorary degree, but I know that wisdom has always been here. Thank you so much for giving us this insights into the new year. And this is to just let our audience to know this is an opportunity to ask questions. If there are questions you want to ask right now, please put them in the comments and we are going to read them. But for my next question, there is something I've heard you say time and time again, that let's always cease to do things smarter, faster, quicker to improve processes.
Yeah.
So if you're to speak to your personal life and how you've evolved and even the next level, because the whole idea of pushing boundaries is you keep pushing. You keep pushing till you can push no more. So what are some of the things you're looking to do, or some of the principles you are applying to do things quicker, faster, cheaper, smarter, that we can apply to ourselves here in Sahara?
Well, I was having a conversation with Tokwe recently, and he jokingly said, this is a 60-year-old man with a 30-year-old mind. You, you are as old as you think you are. If age is a barometer of measuring your success, I don't think you've started, because Methuselah's record would not be beaten by you. So, and they say the age of Methuselah has nothing to do with the wisdom of Solomon. So, it's imperative that one should consistently seek to acquire wisdom. And wisdom can be acquired through you learning from what others have done, what they are doing, where people have failed, where you have failed yourself, and making sure that the failures of yesterday, you don't repeat them today. With grit, with determination, with the strong desire to leaving a legacy behind, and ensuring that when you are truly supposedly old by way of age, looking back, you will have no regret that you've really poured yourself into the world and you don't have anything left in you. The world will be done a great disservice if the best of us should die with us. It's more important for us to really pour the entirety of what we represent into the world, in shaping that world. And for us to be able to do that, the parameters you listed are those parameters I use on a daily basis. How do I get better? How do I do things better? How do I do things faster? How do I make life more qualitative for others? How do I render service? How do I help others? What more can I give? I'm always seeking, searching, and finding ways and means of ensuring that I adapt as well, and then reject the limits people set on me. Years back, it's amazing. I was sharing this with my family yesterday. I used to go to University of Lagos long before I was even a student, primarily to explore and see the lives of those who were doing things better than I. And interestingly, one of the classes I had the opportunity of entering then was the lecture room where Professor Ayodele Awujobi was lecturing, and I was very young, and of course, listening to this fellow, fairly young at that time, relative to the people of today, the ages we talk about. The guy had nothing else to give but brilliance, superior intelligence, and all that. And then I asked a young student in the class that, who is this guy? And he said, that's Professor Ayodele Awujobi. He's the first DSC in Nigeria. I said, DSC, what is that? DSC? He said, Doctor of Science. I said, how? Doctor of Science? He said, this one is superior to PhD. That this guy has it. Wow. So leaving the lecture theater that day, I said, okay, Kola, so when are you going to get your own
DSC.
DSC? Thankfully, yesterday, 16th of January, I got my own DSC.
I think that's deserving an applause. All right, congratulations on this feat, and thank you for all the wisdom that you've shared. I want to give us the opportunity in the audience to really ask questions, because it's not every day we get to have Sir or like I've been seeing a lot of people, they've changed it. Can we officially call you Dr. K now?
I would say life is more meaningful when I'm regarded by my name. My name is Kola.
That's also something to learn, that we don't tie ourselves to just our achievements, but who we are. So if you have questions, please let that roll. But the final question that we have, well, that I have anyway, curated for you is, you've said so much already to us, but just a final charge to Saharians as we start this new year. If it's maybe something from a vision standpoint, how can we, Sahara has achieved so much, and next year to be 3 decades of bringing energy to life responsibly. There's a goal that's there, Sahara, 30 billion at 30. There are several things we are doing to expand the front and to ensure that we leave a legacy, just like you said, for the generation to come. So if we are to buy into this vision, what is that driving force? We've seen all our executive directors. You all virtually have that grit and mind of someone who started just yesterday, and it keeps driving you. So how can we tap into this, and how can we go on this journey so we can all move faster? Like they say, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. We want to go together on this journey. I want to buy into this spirit and drive.
Okay, a couple of things I'll quickly share, since it's the final comment being made here. The very first one is we must ignore tradition. Tradition has a way of imprisoning us from achieving the goal and the vision of life. Of course, if we all go back in time, in terms of information, communication, even strategies as well, a lot of things have changed last 30 years or so, and most especially with the new era of automation, artificial intelligence, robotics. All these are really going to transform the way the world works. The question is, are we in sync with what is happening, and are we ahead of what is about to happen? So I want to give a charge to each and every one of us. Read as much as you can, learn as much as you can, critique as much as you can, leverage your relationship as much as you can. Never accept failure or defeat in any way or form as much as you can. Insofar you remain courageous, you remain passionate, you remain creative, you remain adaptable, resilience will take you over the line. It is very vital that we must always see ourselves from the perspective of doers, not talkers. No medal has been given to talkers. You won't get any medal as well if your mindset is negative. Yesterday, at the convocation ceremony, Chief Kola Adesina shared something very imperative, which I want to quickly go through as I close. He had mentioned the story of the road less traveled. We know that very well.
Yes.
Scott Peck. But he now said, okay, let me share something that's been going on around the media that he stumbled on. And he said, as I read, losing weight is hard. Obesity is hard. Working out is hard. Choose your hard. Divorce is hard. Marriage is hard. Choose your hard. Being in debt is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Being unemployed is hard. Working 9 to 5 is hard. becoming an entrepreneur and starting a business is hard. Choose your hard. Business is hard. Choose your hard. You get to choose your hard. But whatever choice you make, always remember life is hard.
Wow. Wow. Whatever your choice you make, always remember life is hard. I think this has really given so much insight. Thank you so much for your time. Please pardon me. There are 2 questions in the comments, and I know we said it's the final one, but whenever we have the opportunity like this, everyone wants to glean wisdom. So this one is from Marvelous. Let me start from Marvelous Badigeshi. He says, Dr. Kola Adesina, what is the biggest challenge you faced when pushing boundaries, and how did you overcome it?
Okay, the biggest boundary restriction I faced in life, I must confess, was my own mind. At a different period in this journey, when things were rough, when we had no meal to eat in the house, and my father was nowhere to be found, I was tempted, really, to say, okay, maybe fate has a different plan for me. Maybe truly, since it's the family tradition for us to do many out jobs, maybe just become a refrigerator repairer. So I started going to my uncle's shop to learn refrigeration. I did that for about 4 days before I woke up to myself again that this, of course, cannot be the reason why I was. Of course, that led me through some other manual stuff I had to do. So the biggest obstacle really I had, I must say, was my mind restricting my capacity to achieve as much as God has deposited in me for a momentary period. And thank God, those 4 days, I don't ever forget them, irrespective of where I am and what I'm doing. As I stood yesterday at the podium, I remember that particular 4 days vividly, and it almost brought tears out of my eyes that those 4 days could have changed the trajectory of my life and my story.
Wow.
Thank God I was able to wake up from my slumber.
Wow. That means if I'm to take a lesson from this, the only restriction I have is myself.
Correct.
And I just need to dream high.
Correct.
Not put a cap on how far I can dream. I've learned so much from that. So, Badikeshi, marvelous. If there's anything you need to do, is to dream hard and consistently. One more question. This one is from Ofe, who is somewhere around the corner, but let me ask it on her behalf. How can we encourage people who want a career revamp but are too scared to start from the scratch again, especially when they might have dependents who need them to maintain the safe but mediocre status quo?
Okay, I think for me, I'll say that I think one of the things you must not run away from is to embrace a very, very healthy desire. More often than not, our desire centers around us alone. And the more of that you do, the less of yourself you become. Your potential for greatness truly lies in you stretching your hand to other persons. The money you have in the bank, the certificates you've acquired, all become completely meaningless if you don't have a life that is impactful. The first thing is for you to say it's not you, it's about you to other persons. After God created us, He gave us responsibilities, and the responsibilities had little or nothing to do about us except for us to obey. Apart from that obedience, made us agents of creation and innovation. So, first is for you in your mind to say to yourself, what do you want to give to the world? That's the first thing. The second thing is to look at your person. Who are you today? You have to do your own skill analysis relative to the aspiration you've set for yourself in terms of the goal. So do you have the necessary skill and knowledge? Don't go seeking that knowledge wherever you can find it, whether in a formal setting, an informal setting, then you can definitely push for that. In terms of your career, oftentimes we all have this misnomer that the degree we carry or the course of study and all that we did in school is reflective of where you're going. No, the man you see today studied insurance, had to go for management, international law and diplomacy. And of course, I have been given several titles, engineer, this, engineer, that, and all whatnot. But all that came not from the fact that I'm better than anybody. No, not that I'm superior to anybody. No, it's because of the fact that in the course of this journey, I had to lean and stand on the shoulders of those people who are far better than I. I had the privilege of engineers teaching me things I knew next to nothing about. I had the privilege of reading books that were given to me by some of my colleagues and all that. And one of the best schools you can ever attend, truly, and this is not me being hypocritical, is for you to go to the School of Sahara. Because in this school, find the young, the not so young, the experienced, the not so experienced, the vivacious and not so vivacious, the zestful and the not so zestful, the aspirational characters and those that are not really so aspirational, the risk takers and those that are risk averse, the simple and yet you see some that are garrulous, the open and yet some that are so closed. So you have different blend of characters within the Sahara family with several PhD holders, not some of us that got donated their PhDs. So you have everybody that you can really draw strength from. Your job, go looking for those individuals for you to acquire what they have. Added to yours, you become better than them.
Wow. So much insight, so much wisdom, and I think we're going to package this and share as a product so that it can help us as we refocus. Tune in to Asharami Radio this Friday and every other Friday. Asharami Radio. You're listening to Asharami Radio.